Wait, we're on the wrong scene. Do this. Also, I'm gonna fix that. This goes way over there. This is good. Everything looked good. Now, mic works. And we're streaming. Hello! You know what? Let's swap over to this. I got important news. I finished, I got my game on Steam. Finally happened. I'm super excited. I just did it a little while ago. I've been saving some, like, promo pictures. I think I showed them off last stream. But, yeah, I've been saving them. And I just threw it to, like, all my marketing stuff. I wasn't able to get much of a following, but I got a couple people. So, better than nothing. So I made an effort. I don't know why I started eating immediately. But I can at least show this off now. Here we go. Here it is. So if you're on YouTube, I'll have a link in the description. If you're on Twitch, well, I'll just post it. But here it is. Steam, it's my game. Gravitas, it's up now, but it's just coming soon. Planned release date, first quarter 2023. This is what I ended up making. I did like this the normal stage one to begin with. These first three images are kind of like my catchers or whatever. So it goes through that one. It shows this mini boss, which I thought was one of the more interesting images. And then just one of the world map to show that it's not just like a side-scrolling thing, but it's also got a world map. Then it just goes through a couple stages to show various different landscapes and things that you'll go through. Then I got a couple showing like the different research areas, cutscenes. I did think that I forgot to put in one that was like a research cutscene. I should have done that. And then I know I'm not supposed to, but I put some like options menu stuff, just accessibility control kind of things. But you can see there is some accessibility in the game. I got some GIFs going because people like GIFs. Everything I've read says to do this. I did make a mistake of making my GIF images too big, so I had to like remake my store page. I failed my first review for Steam because yeah, my page was too big and the header image isn't allowed to have any words in it besides the title and like parts of the title. So I had like some words, marketing kind of words in it that I had to remove, which makes sense, I guess, because they are kind of like too small to see. So I took them out, and that was pretty easy to do. And then I had to get it re-reviewed, but worked pretty well. So yeah, just a little GIF, shows off a bit of the gameplay. I got some like flavor text. I didn't know what to really say. I just said a little of what the cutscene says. In the distant future, calamity descends from the heavens. Meteor lands off the coast and sends the local ecosystem wild. You take the role of John Shader, typical ex-secret agent and high school science teacher. It's your job to seek out research material, investigate phenomenon by diving deep beneath the waves. Then I show the world map. Explore the coast, searching for new locations in a dynamic world. But take care, you are not alone. Something is affecting the local marine life and citizens are going missing. And then you're not alone, however. Captain Shaw and the charter boat captain will lend you the charter boat captain will lend you his nautical know-how, and Miss Dreyfus will lend you her mechanical expertise, fighting air, on rill, and in sea. I should have said and in sea. And then I put accessibility options here because I wanted people to know that you can play this game with only a mouse with minimum inputs. I got key binding. I just show that it's an indie game, but I at least put that much effort in, right? And then yeah, I got the games planned for release in first quarter 2023. And I've just plugged like some of my places. You can follow along with the development. Maybe that'll help get some more viewers. Yeah, there it is. I still don't have a trailer, which I was thinking I could make a trailer soon, but I need music to put in the trailer, right? I don't need sound effects necessarily, but I do need some sort of music. But I'll have all the other stuff. So I might do that soon. I know a trailer would help with the store page growth. I don't feel like my tags ordered correctly. Like, adventure shouldn't be this high up, and aliens. I think arena shooter was what I put up at the top, but it didn't actually show up. I don't know if it's... The tagging system is really weird. It wasn't that bad. They kind of like break it down into like different subcategories of genres, but yeah, it's a little unusual to get it. But I thought that I was able to order them, but apparently it didn't save the order that I chose, so I might have to look at that again. But I guess this basically says what the game is: action, adventure, aliens, arcade, shooter. I'd like casual to be on here because my game isn't like most people see like shooter and shoot 'em up. They tend to get like overwhelmed, but mine's a very user-friendly kind of game, or very like beginner-friendly, I think. Then again, I play a lot of games, so I might find it easy. But yeah, just want to show that. It's cool. Just really excited about that. I'm also really terrified in a way. Like, a lot of anxiety went into pushing that button to make it public. And now, like, I don't know. I guess it's always been, you know, the clock's always been ticking. But now it's really ticking. Because I didn't give a definite release date, but I've got 3 months to finish this now. But it's December 30th, so I got it done before the new year. I don't know, I really wanted to get closer to Christmas, but the review took a lot longer than I thought it would, even with me trying to hurry up along it. So I don't know, that was like 2 weeks it took me once I started, like, yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to get it up on Steam. So, and I already had like a ticket made, so it's just something to keep in mind if you're making a game and you want to know the process. Give yourself like 2 weeks in advance before you can put it on for the coming soon. And then once it's on there, now that it's on there, it has to be on Steam as coming soon for like 2 more weeks. Honestly, I'm gonna look at this real quick. Oh, hello. Hi, Jacobson. Yeah, so once you've completed the following steps, your game will be ready for release. Store page and game build have been reviewed and approved, which I've done that. Store page has been visible as coming soon for at least 2 weeks, so I gotta do that. And you need a minimum of 30 days since you first purchased your app credit, which I did that months ago, so I'm good on that. And then when I put the I need to put my game build on there. It's gonna take like a week or more for them to review it before I can actually like have it on Steam. Ooh, it's just like a bit nerve-wracking. There's still a lot of work to do, but we're almost there. My checklist, I have to, I gotta, I don't know, look at implementing cloud saves, and I gotta put Steam achievements in the game. I have no idea how to do that. I gotta do this platform support matches, which I don't have a clue how to do that. I've only got one really old computer, so it's hard to test that kind of thing. I did put a launch discount on it. I'm gonna do a launch discount of 25%, which is pretty big, but I figure that way my game launches. I'm gonna set it at $19.99, and at 25% it should launch at $15, which I think $15 is a pretty good asking price for this game. So if you want it at $15, buy it early, or wait until the discount, another discount comes around. I don't care. Yeah, I still need to upload the trailer. I need to figure out the pricing, but it hasn't shown me a place where I can do the pricing. I guess I have to upload the game before I can do pricing. Yeah, I think I actually have to upload a build of the game before I can set pricing, so I won't be able to do that yet. I could, I don't know, I think I might upload a build without sound effects as soon as I finish all this work that I have to do up to the audio. That way I can make sure all that kind of thing works. And then that'll also give me a chance to like practice updating the game so I can add the audio in later and see how that process works. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and upload the game once I finish these mini games and I finish the little bit of other stuff I have to do here. I thought that might be a really smart way to do it. That way, yeah, I can learn how updating the game works, and maybe I can have some like family computers test the game for me. And that's really it. Like, once I do all that, I'm good. So, cool. Today, I wasn't gonna stream, but I decided, seeing as I released the game today, that I wanted to stream and talk about that at least. So what I've been working on here, I can show you how far I've gotten. It's been going actually rather slowly, but I've still got today and tomorrow to meet my goal. But I think it might be pretty hard to get this mini game finished by then. Maybe. I've got most of it working. I just haven't implemented the fish and actually catching them part. But I can show you what I've got, and you get an idea of how it should be working. I mean, I think I'm most of the way there, but the whole catching the fish part is, I think, the most complicated part. So I haven't really done that yet. Oh, here we go. So this is what I've got. We've got, okay, ignore all these fish. They're just test fish for right now. I was testing how these fish move around. But yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. So I put the ship in. I did a subtle like bobbing animation on this, and I like this so much that I put it on the ship in the rest of the game too. But when I did that, it broke the way my anchor chain worked, so I had to like create something to make it to where the anchor could actually go inside of this little hole. So I did that. It's just like a little overlay that hides this little cap. But that was just like a little side thing. Put the little player in there and the guy up on top. And then, okay, so you're sitting here. If you right click, you can actually exit from this mini game. So if you click on it, or if you've been in it and you don't want to like stick around and keep fishing, you can just hold right click to exit, and it'll only let you exit as long as you're sitting in this like default state. If you left click, it goes ahead and starts doing the wind up, and yeah, this just goes up and down. If you click in anywhere, it will set like your power level based on like how high you got it. You know, it's like what you think it'll do. So if I do it like sort of in the middle here, it'll just kind of cast it out and drop down. Does a little rotate, and then if you just click the pull it in, it causes it to rise up, and pulls it closer to you, but there's no way to go back. So I think that the idea is to cast it out and then pull it in and catch a fish along the way. I've set these guys' movement up because there's like all this off to the left that you can't really access. So I made it to where there's a bunch of them over here, but they're less likely to hang out over here. I gave them like, there's a 50% chance that they'll move right instead of continuing to stay left. So hopefully that'll keep most of the fish out of this side area. But I also have another thing. If you ever get a max throw, it causes a fish to just automatically go towards the lure, and I nailed it. So much practice I've had. So yeah, that was him. He rushed to it and he grabbed it, and right now the fish is currently caught, but I have no like nothing set up to actually reel him in yet. That's kind of like where I'm at. So yeah, I've just been kind of working on making this meter, making it cast out and the way it reels in and everything, and I'm pretty happy with it. I had to draw this lure because I didn't actually draw the lure. I think I was going to use like one of the minnows from the game is what I decided to do, and I kind of did that, but I ended up just making it look more like a lure, adding some hooks and little frills to it. I thought it just looked a little nicer that way. This lure is like the mouse cursor, so it's based off of this. I also added pausing to the mini games, so it'll pause. I can go to options, game, cursor. We can change this to be like pink and blue, and then save it and resume, and you'll see, yeah, the minnow changes to be your preferred color along with the mouse cursor. It also changes the color of the bar. So all that stuff is customizable basically if you want to change what colors are visible. There's also, yeah, a little splash if you go up next to the water and you're just reeling. I was thinking of making it to where like each of the fish have different behaviors. The jellyfish just kind of like swim around and they're really easy to catch. I was thinking that all you have to do is get your mouse over them and probably just like press the button again and it'll cause it to like actually catch. But I was thinking I might have like anglerfish will just stay at the bottom of the screen, so you'll have to let it go real deep and then land on them. I was thinking it might be fun if like if you're like trying to catch a shark or something. Usually they'll just ignore you, but if you run it along the top, or maybe salmon, if you run it along the top, it'll cause them to like be attracted to it. So yeah, if you want to catch like that kind of fish, you got to run it along the top and they'll come get it. I thought that might be an interesting way. So like each fish has its own sort of behavior that you have to do if you want to catch it. And yeah, I might make it like where the sharks, you have to get like a perfect throw to get them to come, which is actually kind of hard to do. I did put like a bit of a tolerance on it, so where if you're within like 3 pixels of getting it to the top, it will give it to you. So like honestly, this bar goes all the way up to 100 and then goes back down, but yeah, the top like 6 pixels will actually just lock you into a perfect throw. So it's not that hard to get. And I've been able to get it pretty well. Sometimes I miss it, but I think that's just about right for that to work. Also, I showed it there, but if you ever right click while it's in the water and you didn't like your throw, you didn't get it far enough, it'll just automatically go back to the next one. So I'm pretty happy with the way this is all turning out so far. So all we really have to do is figure out how to get the reeling in part to work and then put the other fish in, get their behaviors. And then set up something to like randomly choose different ones. And that'll be really it. So I'm not that far off from finishing this out. But I'm not really certain where to start from here. Honestly, this whole thing has been like it's been a challenge. I've never done anything like this. And everything I do is always new, it feels like. But I just kind of like took it piece by piece. First, I was just putting everything in the scene where it's supposed to go. And then I was figuring out like how to get the meter to go up and down, right? I actually did some tricks to make this work to where technically the meter's always running in the background and it just pauses once it's at the very bottom. In this case, the max is the bottom. And it waits until you do like a fishing cast before it starts moving again. I've been using this state machine, so it stays in this standby mode. This alpha is just turning on the meter. I've got a lot of different variables for tracking all this stuff. I'm tracking like where the rod is, what the secondary character's doing, what the hook's doing for all of its stuff, the tension level of the line, what the meter's doing for all its stuff, and then this like drawing surface for the meter. We have this state and this image speed. I didn't really show it, but if you notice, anytime I reel in the fishing line, the character starts to animate reeling in, and if you stop, he stops moving. Oh, and then I also did explosions, but like I don't have a way to test that right now. But if something ever explodes, he does actually have like a fallback animation, so that's in the game. It's in here at the bottom. If I ever just set this state to boom, basically we'll call him to go. It'll cause him to go flying backwards, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, what we're working on now is just getting this fishing state to work. But yeah, I just did this like piece by piece. The standby, getting the meter to work, making this meter set this meter hit variable, and then I do all of my like speed to be based off of it. So this is like checking for a cast. If you press the button and the state goes to cast, it'll turn the hook on so you can actually see the hook. Swap the sprites, and then yeah, here we go. Hook horizontal speed equals 17 times, and then this is the math I had to do to translate the meter power into a number that affects the speed. And yeah, these are just the numbers I came with. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, because it's like I'm subtracting from 100, then I'm dividing by 100 to turn this number into a decimal, and then I just multiply that by 17 to get what our power is. And yeah, do the same thing on the vertical speed. So really I just had to figure out like what is the max, and that gets it all the way to the edge of the screen, and it like just barely brushes the top of the screen in the vertical. And then once I have that, then yeah, pretty easy. If the meter power is ever within 3, it'll just automatically go to 0. Change the color. I was doing the sparkle on the meter itself, but I didn't actually like it. It looked weird, and then I thought, oh, it would be much better if the sparkle come out of the hook itself when you throw it. And I like that so much that I don't really need this anymore. Get rid of that. I create these little sparklers if you ever hit like a perfect meter. The speed slowly decreases when you throw it down to 0. Same thing, the vertical has like this gravity on it. There's something that keeps it within the room, because I don't know why, but sometimes it throws a little bit harder than other times, and I couldn't explain that through the code. So I just made a redundancy so that it can't leave the screen. And that seemed to fix it, and I'm happy with it. Once it touches down, it swaps over to reeling, and then if it was a perfect throw, then it's going to look for the nearest fish, and it's going to set that fish's state to equal hungry, which basically tells that fish to come get it. Gonna lower the V speed a little bit so it looks like it actually impacted the water and create this little splash. And then this is the whole reeling part. Honestly, a bit too big to fit on the screen most of the time. I make the meter go away so you don't look at it anymore. I change the hook direction slowly, that's what causes it to flip over, face the other direction. I put a little wiggle on it, which is just a sine wave on the angle, making it move up and down. And that changes speed depending on if you're reeling it in or not. Hook speed equals half. Well, actually it equals 0.5, and then this is what it equals when it's not being reeled in. It's just a very subtle movement. I also do something to where if you reel it in, it starts to spin around faster because that looks nicer. So it moves around really slowly if you don't reel it in, but if you start to reel it in, of course it's going to like cause it to flip around. So just look better. Nice little visual touch. And then it just reels it in until it gets close to where the character is, or you press the cancel button and that'll switch it back to normal and put everything back to the default settings. Now I just need to set up somewhere in here, if you collide with the fish, it'll swap to this state instead without doing this. And then we'll have to figure out how the fishing fighting thing works. And then if you ever blow up the fish, I've already figured that part out because it's fairly easy. I just threw that up. So all I have to do is switch to this state anytime you fail to catch the fish. And then it'll automatically go back to the normal when it's done. Okay, so how to do this part. This is kind of a combination between the fish itself and the player. I have the fish right now when it gets hooked. Basically its X coordinate and its Y coordinate changed to our hook's coordinates, and the hook just draws a line to where the hook is, or it draws a line from the rod to where the hook is supposed to be. I was gonna do something to where you can actually pull back on the rod, but it's a bit complicated and I don't know what it actually accomplishes. I was thinking I'd do it like as a way to set the hook, but I think it's a little too, I don't know, I don't think it provides enough that I need to do that. So I'm not gonna do that. At least not for now. I might change my mind. Alright, so I need to be, I don't know, I need to think of how I'm going to do this. Because kind of, this is its own like mini set of states. Basically. Thinking about like what happens when you like actually catch the fish and start reeling it in. For this jellyfish, will be a pretty easy one. I think they'll all basically have the same behavior. It's just like how much it is. But they'll have like a relaxed state or a tired state to where it's easy to pull them in. They'll probably have some sort of minimal state where they're fighting it, but it's not causing much tension on the rod. And then they'll have a fighting state to where they're actively pulling against you. You have to stop reeling them in. Otherwise, you'll start building tension, and if you build too much tension, you cause them to explode. And that's basically all it is. The other part of the mini game is like on the UI, and it's just keeping the fish inside of the little square. And we'll figure that out later. I think I need to just figure out the first part of this and get it to like pull up into the ship, and then I can figure out the UI part after that. So that's why I'm thinking like this is still probably more than 2 days of work just getting this done. I had a couple days. I was like cutting up that tree that fell on my truck. So I finally got that all cut up and cleaned up. And I've been having to deal with like looking into getting a new vehicle. So that ate a bit of time as well. Which I still haven't really solved that issue. One thing at a time. But I need to think, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do like multiple states here? Or do I do it as part of the fish's behavior? I think it would be easier to just keep the fish attached to the hook and track like what it's actually doing as part of this up here. But then I'd have to figure out what do we have hooked, right? Like, I know I have a jellyfish hooked right here, so it kind of feels like I want to track the behavior of it in its step event. I'm just trying to think, oh, how do I start this? So that it causes less problems down the road. Well, somehow I'm going to have to track this. I need to put this somewhere. What I could do, in fact, well, I thought I could just make multiple states. Instead of setting this to equal fish, I can set it to equal like jellyfish, and I'll have like one for jellyfish, you know, one for each different type of fish that I'm tracking in this line. But then I've got multiple types of fish, but I have multiple types of fighting behavior. I don't know if that's the best way to go about it. I also kind of got to think like, do all the fish fight the same way, or do I want to do anything different? Like, I like the idea that anglerfish like to pull the line down deep or something. That makes sense. I also probably need to set up something to where if the hook gets pulled too far, like off screen, does that cause a problem? Or too far under the boat? Maybe they run into the boat. I don't remember where I was tracking that stuff. Which I think I'm tracking that as part of the reeling animation. Yeah, this resets all the coordinates. And then I set here if the y is ever greater than 366, then you reel. Otherwise, somewhere down here, it just causes it not to go up anymore. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about it. Right now, it could go off the screen because I have nothing that tells it not to go off the screen in this particular line. So I might do something like that. Maybe if it goes off the screen, tension will start to build automatically. So you gotta get it back on screen or you'll lose it. So I kind of like the idea that, yeah, certain fish try to bring it down. Some kind of fish might try to bring it to the right, and some might actually run under the boat. The jellyfish are supposed to be really easy. Like, I could track it here, as long as I keep changing the hook X and Y, it will affect what it looks like on the rod. I think it might be better to do it based on the fish itself. Then I can do like all their behaviors as part of this. So instead of this going to like hooked, I think this needs to go to like one of its 3 different states. And I can track in here, like, all I really need to track here is when the, like, the failure state, which is like, if, tension, right? I think tension goes from 255, yeah, tension goes from 255 down to 0. If it gets to 0 and it sits on 0 for like a second, then it will explode. So if tension equals 0, I'm thinking I'm gonna do something like a timer. Do I have a timer already in here? I haven't used a timer yet. We can create something like a tension timer. So let's say you have 3 seconds to pull it back out of the red, or it goes boom. I actually noticed this while playing Potion Permit, that it's kind of hard to see when a red line or when a white line turns all the way red. So I thought it might be a good idea to make it sit on red for a couple seconds before you actually fell. That's why I'm doing this. I could just make it blow up the second it gets to 0, but yeah, while I was playing that game, I felt like it always felt kind of cheap that it blew up, and I thought I was taking it like right to the line, but it always like go off before I expect it to. So I think, yeah, if you sit on red for a little too long, then it'll blow up. But it's got to be at 0, and on the tension timer has to reach 180, and once that happens, boom. And I think what I'll do is just say state equals boom. Which will set all this stuff up. And then all I have to do is track in here and search to see if this state ever happens. Then I know that this fish, whatever one that is hooked at the moment, has to explode. So I'm running this hook alpha thing constantly. I probably shouldn't do that. But the place where I set up the state is here. I think I need to throw this on that line though, so that it only runs the one time. There we go. So that'll swap this state to equal fish. It'll turn this hook off, because you don't want to see the lure hanging out of the fish mouth. Though for the jellyfish, you might actually want to see that, but I'm not going to do that for now. So I think instead of being hooked, I want this to be one of 3. I'm just thinking what I'm going to call them. I could just say hooked passive. Yeah, like hooked passive. We'll do that here. And then we'll have two more. One for hook fight. And then hook tired. So the idea is if it's passive, it'll kind of fight you, but not really. So it should be pretty easy to pull in. If it's okay, so I'm trying to think like how the UI works. And you can think of like if we're tracking the little fish that's on the UI, if it's passive, you'll be able to drag the fish to the right, and as you drag the fish to the right, that causes the fish to pull in the way you can catch it. So if it's passive, it'll kind of fight. It might move a little bit, but you'll be able to like pull it in. If it's the fight, it's going to make it move all the way to the side. So you're gonna have to bring the cursor over to it and like try and drag it back. And then if you're ever outside of the fish during the fight, you build up more tension. And if it's ever tired, I'm thinking it just you can pull it to the right really easy. So maybe passive, it actually doesn't pull it to the right. It just like stays somewhere in the middle. And tired brings it to the right, fight brings it to the left. So passive, it goes kind of like anywhere, and you just have to follow it. Because I'm thinking like that's how the mini games work. In the what I'm trying to copy. Also, my phone just opened up. That's right. If you tilt it a certain way, it causes it to automatically open. Forgot about that. Okay, so yeah, I should write that down here, but I kind of have the idea. So, fish, that's not right, fish icon moves, but can reel in. Okay, so I think these will be the basic like 3 states that pretty much all the fish will do. And this is cool because if I do it this way, I can change this around if I decide I want to. If I want the shark to have like different behaviors, or if I want like a fish to jump out of the water, I don't know if I want to do all that, but I could do it by just having an extra state in here. Or I could do something to where it fights one way, or it could fight like a second way. So maybe we do that. But I think regardless, all of these, it's gonna keep the hook in the mouth. So we can keep this here. So this is tracking a failure state, but I also want it to track this. So if we ever get it to this point, that's when we successfully catch the fish. It's going to be mostly this stuff, but it's not going to be state equals standby. It's going to be state equals like victory, or I guess that'll work. I'll figure that part out later. So yeah, this is just tracking failure state and tracking the winning state. I guess we should have the winning state down here too. Okay, so ignoring what happens with the icon, honestly, I might have to set up the whole icon thing now. That's going to be annoying. Do I want the fish to draw the icon? I could do that, though I'd have to change the depth. The depth has to be like much higher. The best thing to draw the UI on would be my top object here. I haven't really used it for anything like that though. But yeah, if I drew like a UI thing, it should be here. We can at least get it set up where it's supposed to go, and then that usually helps me figure out like what I'm doing from there. So you want to draw. I also created some new icons and stuff. All I did was change the saturation, and I took the color off of it basically. Because I thought, seeing as I've got like custom colors, this is probably something I want to use the custom colors for. I got the other ones in here just in case I change my mind. And I did it for, I made this ripple blue and gold because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use. But I also now have this white one, so I can use custom color for it as well. I might need to do a selection icon as well. Figure that out. So this is the fishing window I want to use, though I had two of them, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to do. I think I want to use this little one, because I think this is a little overkill. This is usually just for menu stuff. I think this would be better for like UI. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm probably just going to stick with that one. But that's the thing that I actually want to draw. And it draws right in the center. I don't know if that's the best. But yeah, might as well, because I can use room width divided by 2. Alright, so it's S fishing window 2 0. So it's going to be room width divided by 2. And the Y, I don't quite know what that's going to be. The height of the page is 1080. So we probably want like 980? Or I could put it on top of the screen. If I put it on top of the screen, it won't be in the way of any of the fish. That'd probably be smarter. So let's do like 200 and try that. This will be 1, 1, 0, C, light, 1. Actually, it's not 1. This is going to be a new thing, which is fish UI. Ooh. Oh, look at that. I don't know how that happened. Did that mess up my scene? I open iTunes. I have no idea how I open iTunes using my keyboard. Maybe I press like a window key plus like enter? That's weird. Anyway, fish UI. So that I can turn the UI on and off. So now we need this fish UI. Set to 1 for now. Okay. So we have the window. We'll want, I think the icon would be next. Would we start with W or just start with the, I'm gonna start with the W because that's what I think I'm probably gonna use. But this is gonna be variables. So this is gonna be fish X. I don't really need a fish Y. I think 200 will still work here, so it'll put it in the middle. This is in the middle of the icon, right? Middle center, yeah. So that should work. That should be good, that should be good. Oh wait, the image X scale does change. So this is fish direction. Rotation. This needs to be global. I think color 2. Thinking about how I'm going to track all this different stuff. It's going to be really annoying. Let's just use this selection for now, the blue one. Honestly, I kind of want to use the gold one. Which, I don't even remember what that sprite is. Is the gold one in the middle, though? That's the question. This one's in the middle. What a UI. This one is not middle. I think I need to copy this. Because I really want it to be in the middle. It'll make things easier. But I think I might need to put this on a custom color too. I wonder why they're different sizes. They should have been the exact same thing. That's odd. I wonder which one is the ripple. This one's 248, 248. This one's only 168.42. I guess I made the ripple bigger so that it goes outside the lines. Okay. I don't think that'll cause an issue. I might have to resize this picture though. Alright, I'll use it for now. So not blue, gold. Not fish X, it's real X. No direction on this, it's just one. And the color is going to be sea white. Alright, so we have fish X, fish direction, real X. I don't know. 500. Yeah, I think I need a new selection. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I might want the selection to actually change colors. If you're not if you don't have it over the fish. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If you don't have it over the fish and you are reeling so that you know that you're doing something bad. Alright, but using this, I think I'll be able to basically track everything. So I can track like the fish X and the direction using this code. And then the real X, I'll track down here as well so we know where that's supposed to be. The UI, we'll have to turn that on when we actually catch the fish, so that the UI shows up when it's needed. But I should be able to see it now. I might set I think for like the jellyfish, the reeling cursor will always appear directly on the fish. We'll do for like the harder fish, it'll just be randomized somewhere on the bar, both of them. You don't start in a favorable spot. I think that's a good little thing to add a little more challenge. But for this one, it's very simple. It's just they start wherever they start, on top of each other. Alright, so as part of this, I need to do... Actually, no, not as part of that. As part of this. Because this one is a constant. Honestly, this one's so constant, I feel like I need to do this. But I can't really do that, because I don't know which fish I have hooked. So it's better to do it here. No, that means this would be backwards. I think I want the hook to actually be what this thing's X is. That'll make things easier. Okay, so up here I want to track this thing, fish UI. So it's the same thing I did with the other UI. That's making the UI disappear. I want the UI to disappear if you get a boom. And this will be if, not meter, but oh golly, wrong thing's not sliding. This one. Not typing. There we go. Oh wow, that fishing UI is way bigger than I thought it would be. Also, I don't know what happened to the color. Oh, I know what happened to the color. Because I changed the mouse when I changed that back. There we go. It's actually hard to see. I'm pretty sure this is on top. Right? I drew the window and then I drew the different icons. Yeah, this is way bigger than I thought it would be. I wonder where the best place to put this would be. I could put it like on top of the screen, like I was thinking. Like if I put it on bottom, the fish will be able to move behind it, which is a little annoying. I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I kind of feel like bottom would be best. I mean, right where it's at right now is the worst place, covering up her guy. If I put it on top though, my problem is you're going to be looking up here and you're not going to be paying attention to the fish and the reel. So I kind of feel like it needs to go on bottom, even though the fish might be able to run behind it. So I'm going to have to figure out like the difference between like half of this bar so that it's just on the very bottom. And place it, do that. Okay, so that bar here, no, not that one. And of course, I don't know the exact amount, but it should be around 75. Use that as an idea. So what is it? It's like, let's just try 1,000. I said 75, so 80. So if we set it at 1,000, might work out. So am I going to get any errors? Yes, I am. How to make that UI disappear if we ever blow the fish up or if we ever catch the fish. Also, this needs to go in here so that that meter goes away if we're fishing. I need this one to go in here, but the other way around. So if it is less than that, plus equals, but I think it comes, oh, we'll do it like this. I think I had the other meter, like, it appears faster than it disappears. Or the other way around, disappears faster. No, this one's still 0.05. It'll be fine. I guess technically this could happen if you caught the fish super fast, which technically a fish could like wander in right under the boat to where you cast it, hook it, and bring it in before the previous meter disappeared. I think all that is technically possible. So I'll put this here as well. Make sure the meter doesn't get stuck. Alright, let's test again, see if it's in the right spot. Nope, still too high. Let's go, okay, so if I want to go down, up here. I don't know, just do like 20 at a time. My dog's snoring. It's really close. I don't know if I want it like right on the edge of the screen. I might. Like the further down it is, the better. The correct number was 23. Okay, that'll put it on the bottom of the screen. And as long as I do this equals 0, now that should work. Oh, but I gotta catch a fish too. Which I can't do unless I make a perfect cast. Alright, I'll let you see what I'm looking at. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I might know why sometimes it casts further than others. Because the second it hits the water, I don't know if I did something to make it like reset the numbers so that the next cast doesn't have like some residual numbers from the previous one. So it does set the horizontal speed and vertical speed. No, that shouldn't do anything. Because it sets them, it doesn't like add to them, it just sets them to a new thing. Damn. I'll get it one of these times. Gah! Missed it again. How tricky. This is why I gave you a good reward if you manage to hit the top one. Plus, if you hit the top one, like, You'll catch a fish, but it'll be really far away. Also, I saw the hook disappeared just then. Why did that happen? Oh, it was just sideways. Probably. There we go. Bam. Whoosh. There we go. So it appeared. That was great. It's just on the screen. And it doesn't block too much. And I think this will be a good place. It's a very big bar though. I don't know. I might want to like decrease the size of it in half or something. But I guess that's okay too. Like there's no reason it can't be a really large UI thing. I didn't think about this, but if I want to make this mouse controlled, I need to make this thing, if you like mouse over it, it should follow the mouse. That's another thing that I gotta do. If I'm gonna do that, I should really make this its own object then. True. That way it works kind of like a button does. So you can either control it using the left and right buttons to make it go left and right. So if you don't know what I'm going for here though, I think the fish icon like moves on its own randomly, and then you are controlling the box and you have to bring the box over the fish icon, and if you start reeling in, it causes like this ripple effect to go over the box to show that you're reeling in. If you ever reel in and you don't have the box over the fish, it causes tension to build, which will turn the line red, and then eventually the line will snap. Yeah, and then the fish icon just has different behaviors which affect the little guy as well. To have him like drag the line to the right or to the left or down. So yeah, now that I'm looking at this, I definitely want to make this its own object. And I'll just have the object be like permanently on screen, and it'll hide itself and be, you can't interact with it until you actually hook a fish and it appears. I think that's how I'll do it. And then we'll figure out how to like get all the moving parts working. So maybe I want the real part to kind of be, I think it'll be like a permanent thing or persistent. So, and I'll just make the jellyfish icon like, make it, the icon will be right underneath wherever it happens to be. Or for other fish, it'll be somewhere wherever it's not at. Okay. So we want a new object. That's sprites. Is anything animated? I don't think anything's animated. The thing moves, but it's not like frame by frame animation. So I can really just use the window itself. Makes things easier. Fishing. Window 2. Okay, so there's our object. So this thing, instead of doing these different draw events, I'll copy that later, but first let's go ahead and just create and and the depth will just be depth minus or +1, so it's just underneath our spawner. Gotta put it on top of everything else. Minigame, fishing, window. Okay, so that'll be the window created. Now we just have to figure out what the window does. Transfer all this stuff over. So real X, this stuff, copy. Okay, now it's its own object. It should have a collision mask. Let me look at it. Make sure it's the right thing. Yeah, the collision mask is the box itself. So I'm gonna make it to where if you mouse over it, it'll control the real X. So let's start with that. Also, yeah, I'm drawing the selections on top of the fish. I think I want the selection to be under the fish looking at it. It makes the fish like too dark. Let's just try it the other way around. Also, another thing I need to change. Oh, I did all these. Now I gotta change it to be the other thing. So I don't know how many times spawner's used, but I could just do it. Just double click it. Now, honestly, I think there's a better way to do this, and that's just to track it, seeing as it's an object now. Let's just track that as part of the object. There we go. State ever equals fish. We bring the window in, otherwise we take it out. A lot simpler. So it's not place emitting. Point collision. Collision point. Okay, this is for tracking objects. I forgot how I did this when I did the buttons before. I should just look that up. Oh, distance point. That's the one I wanted. So if it's greater than 0, okay, no. If it's equal to 0, that means the mouse is directly on us. And we just say real X equals mouse X. I think I want something to where the mouse like is over it, but you press a different button, it cancels this. So I'll have to use that mouse enter thing like I had before. Okay, so the way I do that, I say if it's kind of like what I had before. If it's greater than 0, yeah, I shouldn't have gone, whatever. If it's greater than 0 and not mouse enter, mouse enter equals true. Else okay, if I remember correctly, doing it this way means that if I ever move the mouse out of the window, this is backwards, isn't it? If I move the mouse out of the window, oh crap, let me just open this back up. Okay. Hit mouse enter. Then it just sets the defaults. Okay. Okay. What sets it to true? There's like a different one in here. This is it. It'll be a little bit different. Okay, so this is saying if it's greater than 0 and mouse enter is true, then set it to false. If it equals 0 and mouse enter equals false, then we set it to true, and this was like changing options. We don't need to do that. We can set it to true. I don't remember how this works. The whole idea is to where if I press any button, it'll set it back to false, but to get it to turn back on, you'll have to take the cursor back out and put it back in. That way, like, controls on the keyboard or the controller will supersede wherever the mouse is. Because if I was doing it the way I had before, if you're using keyboard and mouse or whatever, or if you're using keyboard, but the mouse happened to just be on the window, you would lose control of the cursor. I don't want that to happen. But I don't think this is it. This isn't going to work the way I think it works. Before I was like swapping through options. So yeah, this isn't going to work for what I'm trying to do. I gotta think about how this works without having other options to cycle through. I'm not exactly sure because I need to track like there's a difference between knowing when you enter an area oh, I think I know how to do this. Okay, I think I'm making it too difficult with this. Okay, I just want to know, okay, if the mouse is in there, let's forget about this part for now. If the mouse is in there, then we say, not this. Oh, maybe I don't know how this works. I feel like I've solved this problem before and I can't think of how it works now. Oh yeah, we're around New Year, so people are using fireworks. That's what that noise is. New Year's is in another day. Like, I can figure out how to turn the mouse off. You just press any key, and that'll turn the mouse off, is what I think. But how do I turn the mouse back on again? I guess one thing that could work. This controller, I make it disappear. Oh, here we go. Now this is for drawing the score, which I will have to do eventually. I feel like I should go ahead and figure this out. It's probably going to be the exact same thing. So actually, I could probably just say if that, or so instead of saying instance exists, I should just do what room we're in. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this hide timer. Okay, so if the player the chip is available, it hides the mouse. So I guess I never noticed that the mouse actually doesn't hide in the minigame, which I think I do want the mouse to hide in the minigames. If I did it that way, this is what I'm thinking. If I make it to where the mouse will hide, I can just check to see if the mouse is hidden, then we know that it's not going to affect this. Isn't like a perfect solution, but it is a solution. Plus, I probably do want the mouse to hide in mini games. Like I want the mouse to show up in windows and cutscenes, but yeah, in mini games, I think it's totally fine for it to vanish. Let's just try this. Or I had to test that. But I think that's all I had to do to make this work. Yeah, let me test that real quick. So this is going to cause an error, I think. Actually, this shouldn't cause any errors. It'll be a little weird. Alright, so the cursor should hide if I don't move it now, without causing any errors. Of course, I gotta rebuild. Great. Alright, well I can keep working on this while it rebuilds. Okay, so if I do this, I can just check to see if a cursor is hidden or not, to see if it actually interacts with the window. So I need to see if hide timer is less than 3. Okay, so that's what I'm really looking for. And okay, so if the mouse is on it and the mouse isn't hidden, this will make our real X be the same thing as the mouse X. It's not the best solution though, because you still won't be able to use, like, I want keyboard and gamepad to like supersede anything the mouse does, and this doesn't really do that. There's a better way to do this, and I just need to think about it. Seems like it would be some sort of variable that you switch on and off based on what buttons you're pressing. But to switch it on, if you just move the mouse at all, and it happens to be colliding, that seems like the way to do it. I don't see the cursor going away. Yeah, it's not going away. I wonder what is missing. So this wouldn't work anyway. What do I do wrong here? So if instance exists, the ship, the player, the room equals one of the minigames. If you're not paused and you don't have auto move on, then the hide timer should go up, but that's not happening. But the room definitely equals fishing minigame. So the cursor should disappear after 300 frames pass. That's a little confusing that didn't work. Let me try it again. Everything I know says that should work. Also, I didn't check to see if the score was there. Yeah, score is there in the top corner. So if I just stop moving my mouse, it should go away after a couple seconds. I think 300 seconds is 5 seconds. Definitely a bit more than 5 seconds. Why is the cursor still there? Weird. Game's definitely not paused, and this auto thing's not on. Room definitely equals this. And the mouse isn't moving. I mean, one thing I could do. I can see what is going on with the timer. The timer's stuck at 0. It doesn't really matter for Game Maker Studio. Yeah, my timer's not counting up at all. It's still stuck at 0. So, gotta figure out why that's not working. Honestly, Game Maker Studio allows for a lot of leeways you don't get in like C++. Like these semicolons I've been using, you don't actually have to use them. I just been doing it because it's good practice for ending a line. You don't have to use ands like this. They've actually got like the words. Use those if you wanted to. But the equals works both ways as well. So I don't really have to do an equals equals instead of like a plus equals or greater than equals or equals equals. Yeah, I just do normal equals. Okay, so why isn't it going up? That's the real question here. Because this should be one of my qualifications, and it's triggered. Oh, I see what's going on. This is in here. Because I threw this on the wrong spot. That's supposed to be here. There we go. That was all it was. Parentheses in the wrong spot. There it goes. Alright, so it's set to 0 if I don't move it, or if I move it, but it starts counting up. Once it hits 300, it disappears. So, I mean, that's one thing that I can make it to where if it disappears, we know we're not using the mouse. But, again, that doesn't really, like, not quite the priority I want. So, but it's good to see that this now works. So we can hide the cursor in minigames. But yeah, it doesn't really fix what I wanted to do here. I think the trick is I was kind of close to it. If it's ever greater than 0 and mouse enter equals true, then it equals false. Well, I don't have to do this equals true part. That's redundant as well. Right, so that'll turn this mouse enter off if we ever go outside of it. Now I just need a way to turn on the mouse without it being a constant. So that would just be saying no, this won't work. I was thinking of saying, oh, also there's no and here. I was thinking of just saying if it's false, then I would turn it to true, but no, that would just run constantly. That doesn't work. Oh, but I could set something else up here. I could. Okay, it's a bit messy, but I feel like I'm doing this all wrong, but I do feel like I'm in the right track if I do it this way. So I set this to equal true and I say, I don't know. Right, so I'm thinking we'll do another one for, so, okay, once mouse enters true, this will only trigger once and this will only trigger once. And now that we're actually in it, as long as we don't remove our mouse from it, then it won't matter. But this part, yeah, I need to also add here. It's going to be false here as well. So I'm like tracking two at the same time. The only difference here is what I'm using to activate it. I think this will work. It's kind of silly, but now all I have to do is say if mouse active equal, well yeah, is true, that's already redundant. Then do this. And now I say if any key is pressed, I'll turn this active off. And the active doesn't ever get turned back on unless you move the mouse out and back in. I think that's a bad way to do it. I should just like do what I do here and track what the mouse is actually doing, but that's kind of aggravating to do. But I feel like this is the solution. Is that going to see if the mouse is moving, then we're going to update the. Actually, yeah, I guess that would work. Probably is a better way to do it. Alright, yeah, I don't like this. Technically this would work, but you'd have to like remove the mouse from the window and bring it back in to get like control of the real X. I think the other way to do this is just alright, let's cancel all this back off. Or let's leave it in there. I'll just comment it out. Let's try a different thing. So, okay, if it's equal to 0, it means it's on it. That's the wrong type of bracket. So we say okay, whatever this stuff was back in here, we're gonna have to track this stuff. Either way, I'm going to end up making variables just to track this kind of thing. I can't use mouse X. We can just say like MX and MY equals these two things. And we say does not equal. Oh, I don't care about. Well, yeah, I do care about the Y. So, okay, if MX does not equal mouse X, or MY does not equal mouse Y, that means the mouse has moved. And now we say this stuff up here, real X equals mouse X. Okay, I do think this is the best way to do this. So this only triggers if the mouse is actually on the thing. And then is there any reason this has to be? No, yeah, it would have to be first. I need to add like an extra one in here. I don't know if I did this with the cursor, but if I don't do this, it's gonna make it like trigger immediately. So I need to say something like, and mx does not equal like -1000 or -100. So if I set like by default mx equals -100 and y equals 0, technically you can't get the mouse to -100. So I know that this has run at least one time to get the mouse coordinate, so that this doesn't actually trigger on the first step, because this will be true, or if it does not equal -100. So you need to update the MX at least once before this will trigger. And then, yeah, if you're ever moving the mouse around, then this will happen. If the mouse is not moving around, now we can get into the key part. Alright, I think that was the solution I was looking for. Very complicated. And at this point I would just check for global keys to move it instead of the mouse. But I might as well see if this actually works. I haven't really tested that. Okay, so at the moment nothing's happening. I need to catch a fish, which is one and done. There it is. Now if I move the mouse on it, there we go. It updates. So at the moment, oh yeah. Now that I think about this, you'd have to keep the mouse directly on it. And it, shit. Does that matter? I was thinking this whole time that I wanted it to be, the mouse has to be on it to control it. I also need to put like barriers so it can't go off the screen. But if I do this, then that means I kind of want the player to be able to move it using just their mouse too, and not actually be on it. So everything I just did, I mean, it's necessary, but it's also maybe not what I actually want. I might actually make it to where if you're moving the mouse at all, it should update this. But that means if people have like a drifting mouse and they're playing with normal and their mouse just moves a little, it would cause this to move. Well, what's the best way to go about doing this? I don't like the idea that, I mean, it's not too bad to keep the mouse here to control this. This will definitely make the game easier too. It's like so much easier to move the mouse left and right this way. Like, you couldn't even fail the game if you're using the mouse like this, right? So maybe I do make it to where if you drag the mouse out, it wouldn't be that big of an issue where you can't control it anymore. At least that makes it a little more challenging. Otherwise, it's going to be really easy to play this with mouse. Also, I really need to put the coordinates back on the keyboard so I can track the edges of this window, which will be like right there, right here. I don't know. Bots. Yeah, I guess the solution here is to drag this outside of and get rid of this part. I don't know if I want to do that though. I'm gonna leave it like it is for now. Also, if I do mouse keyboard controls, it's not gonna be in here. It's gonna be outside of here. All right, let's set up the cursor. I might as well just find like the window borders real quick. I should really set it up to where I've already automatically caught a fish for testing. Not too hard to get one. Okay, so my X coordinate is... Oh man, that's a weird number. 1473. I'm looking for even space. Yeah, I think 1473 is it. So I never got that new piece of paper. And then I guess 4041 or 4042. 4042. Alright, got the borders. Let's establish those. So I need to paste onto here, probably. Do I do it here? Or do I just do it at the bottom so that it works for everything? I think it would be better if I did it as part of my code, but I could just throw it on the bottom. If real x is less than 442. It should work, even though, yeah, I don't know if that'll work. It might cause like a graphical issue, but as long as it's at the end of the step event, it'll happen before it draws, so we shouldn't see anything that looks weird. Also, I can get rid of this now. Yeah, I should definitely set something up to where the state equals hooked right off the bat. No, that works fine. There's no issues. Oh yeah, it won't go past this, it won't go past that. That works. As long as this stays at the bottom of all my stuff. To make it like automatically hooked would be because I need like a fish to be hooked to it. Oh, I could just make it to where it always is a perfect cast, which I throw that in here somewhere. It's when the state equals real. Yeah, we just throw here meter it equals 0. Now do I want this thing to have any drag on it? I don't think I need that. Pretty sure one-to-one movement is fine. Let's make it move by like 10. And that should work for everything. Key left and key right is assigned to my keyboard and my gamepad. That button. This button. Perfect cast. Bam! Nice. There we go. Is that slow? That feels a little slow. It's like way slower than you're gonna get with the mouse. I should do something. Actually, that's what I should do. I should make it to where the mouse only moves. It moves at the same speed, but basically, yeah. If I put my mouse here, instead of it clicking over there, it'll just like slowly come over to be where my mouse is. Right? That's what I need to do to make them even. Okay, I'll set that up. Also, I really don't like how dark this fish is. I probably will use the other sprite. So I'm wondering about like the transparency on this. Looks like you can see these fish. Pretty. They look like they're on top, don't they? I wonder if my depths are weird. Yeah, this is definitely on top. Maybe my depth is off. I thought that this thing's depth, this fishing spawner, it should be at -99. Oh, because I create it before I create the depth. Okay, well that's easy enough to do. You just set it at 998. Now it'll be on top. Okay, yeah, let's get this movement to be right. So I would have to do something different here. Where we check if real x is less than mouse x, then we just say real x minus equal, if it's less than, yeah, minus equals 10. Now I could say else, but I also want to make it to where if it's actually equal to, then it doesn't move. So I'm just going to do another one with greater than. So if it's ever equal to, it should not move. And in fact, I might want to do it like within like a pixel or two. I think that'll make it even smoother. We'll see what it looks like. Alright, that should make this move smoothly. It'll still stay inside the border. Oh, I did it backwards. But it does kind of work. Oh, it doesn't work if you don't keep moving the mouse up. That's a problem. Maybe I should just do it based on the hide timer instead of doing this. Okay, let's try it the other way. I guess actually now that I'm looking at it, one easy thing I could do is just say and not global key left and not global key right. That way I'm guaranteed that the mouse isn't going to move if you're pressing a control. It's just like if the hide timer is less than 300 and you let off the left key but your mouse happens to be on top of this window, then it's going to start moving, which isn't like the best UI design, but it's kind of like the best thing I can come up with right now. Like I was thinking I could put it like on a mouse click, but the mouse click is the cast. I could put it on like right click. I'm not really doing anything with right click when you're reeling in a fish. I don't know. This might be the best solution. To where it has to be. Oh yeah, I forgot to reverse it. Anyway. Yeah, so that way. I don't know. Doing the right click thing just doesn't seem like it would work. Fuck, I need to fix that. This works pretty well. And now it doesn't like go super fast, but it's still as good as this. This might actually be a little easier now. But you can still use the mouse controls. I think the window's big enough that you don't really have to worry about dragging it off, though it could make things a little annoying. I can't think of a better way to set that up. And also, if you keep the mouse at the very bottom of the screen, it's still technically on, so you can't go like below. I think that'll work. So if I leave it on there, actually, what happens if I do that but I leave it on there? So say it's still going back because the mouse is still there until it goes away. That's the only offside here. And if I move the mouse on accident or something, like it gets knocked on there, it's gonna mess up your gameplay a little bit until that goes away. I don't know, there's a better way to do it, I'm just not thinking about it. Making it based off of like clicking would be the easiest solution. I don't know. Like I could put this on a timer, but how long would the timer have to be? Like I was having a problem before. You have to move this like constantly if you actually want this to move the way that's set up. That wasn't really the best solution either. So I'd have to do something that like it checks every couple frames to see if it has moved. But that's not really ideal either. But that's technically what the mouse cursor is doing. I mean, one thing I could do is if you press a button, it could just automatically hide the mouse. That would work. If I do that, then I don't have to worry about it superseding it at all. I think that's the best solution. Alright, so this still works the same, but if I put my mouse here and then start moving that, it's going to automatically hide the mouse. And that kind of messes up if you keep moving it, but you shouldn't do that if you're playing normally. So that way if you just like, I don't know, the mouse bumps in there, any sort of press will stop it from going back over there. I think that's the best that's the best solution I got. Oh, okay, one thing I do want to do. I only want this to trigger if this is happening now. So it'd probably be better to put it in there anyway. Okay. So if you press the left or right key, it's going to hide it automatically, and that's only going to happen if the mouse is on it. Okay, spent a lot of time doing that. What's next? I guess the reeling in part. Which, do I want to do that here? I think I do. So I guess all the stuff I'm tracking is going to be on this object. So yeah, I'm just going to have the different fish or just interacting with the window itself. I think that'll be better, easier, instead of making the fish do it. So I'm glad I come this far before realizing that. Alright, so what are my buttons again? They're in here. Actually, I could do it a split of both of them, I guess. It's a little confusing. I mean, this thing's tracking the icon itself. Also, I want to change this. Let's try the other one. Like, I want this to move the fish, but it's only going to move the fish if the fish isn't, or if the fish is tired. It might move it if it's passive, depending on what fish it is. Which tells me that I kind of want to do that kind of thing over here. But I can't, like, I can't call from here into the fish because I don't know which fish we have hooked, so I really need to track that stuff on the fish itself. Like, I can move the icons here when you're reel in. So actually, I think this might actually have to be tracked in here. So let's do the tired one first. Alright, so this should allow me to drag the fish. I'm gonna set this like real thing. for animation. Not working. I wonder why that is. Oh, because it's not in the right one. That's why that is. But I was also thinking I can get rid of this part. Oh no, it's not in here. Never mind. Let's not do 500. Let's do 800 for testing. Also, we should do something here. Just going to exit the script if the UI is not completely on, so that none of this runs during the rest of the game. Okay. This should now... No, it won't work because I need to move this up here just for testing. Alright, let's see if that works. We should be able to drag the fish to the left now. So, here goes and gets it. There it is. I can move this. But as long as I left click, it drags it. Oh, but it's not moving because the mouse is on it. That's a little weird with the mouse. Try that again. Not using the mouse this time. Alright, but if you were doing it this way, yeah, as long as you press on it, it is dragging it that way. Now I gotta make it to where it only interacts if this is on it. Oh, I just noticed this too, to kind of drag it. I mean, that's kind of okay. It's funny, it doesn't affect the mouse, but it does affect... That's weird. Oh, because the, I know why, because... yeah, that doesn't work for the controls, but it does work for this. Because it's outside of the step event. Okay. It's gonna be a lot more complicated than I thought with all this. Because it only activates at a certain time. That's right, if you're holding the left mouse button down, then I don't want this to actually change. So none of this actually becomes true. You're pressing the mouse button. Getting a lot of stuff on the end of here. Alright, so if you press the confirm button or the mouse key button, it's not going to actually move with the mouse. I hate doing it that way. I'm gonna have to see if like the distance between a line is greater than a certain amount. So if that is less than, I think it just needs to be less than half of whatever the size of the button is, or the hitbox of the button is. Which is 336. Uh, 336 is like 15. What is that? 15, but then that makes it 65, but then that makes that 8. Is that right? 168? I think that's 168. Okay, if that's true, that's what actually moves this fish. It might do other things as well. The reel moves regardless, and it animates regardless. But yeah, the fish has to be near it or on it to move the fish. Alright, so that's reeling. Bit weird. At least this way you can't move it while you're reeling. There we go. Now we reel the fish in, but it gets stuck in here. I wanted to actually be able to move further over. So I'm gonna have to figure out where the fish can actually go to. The fact that it kind of moves over a bit, I don't think that's too big of an issue, but I could fix that. It's just gonna be a little bit more complicated to stop that from happening. Oh yeah, that distance doesn't seem to be right. Yeah, that distance takes into account like the center of the fish, but it doesn't take into account the rest of it, which actually is probably good. I want you to have most of the box on the fish before you can move it, right? So if you're like a little bit, yeah, if he's a little bit on the outside, you shouldn't actually be able to drag him. The idea is to get the box like over him when you're dragging. I think that's fine. It's set up about right. So all I have to do now is, if you're pressing the reel button and the icon's not over this, I need to increase the tension so that it slowly starts to build up and break. But I'm starting to get an idea of how this works. I don't know. What do I do with this fish? I guess I attach this to the mouse to figure out how far it can go. That or I just eyeball it. Alright, so the fish should probably not go any further than this spot. So let's do like 3, 6, 7. And over here. Oh yeah, I gotta rotate it to get this side. It should be I mean, it's middle center, so it should be like basically 1537, maybe 1535. Let's do 1535. Okay, so new numbers are 367. And 1535. There we go. I guess I could track this here and say so if it's greater than 168, while you're pressing the reel in button, where am I tracking tension again? I'm tracking tension here. So tension. Alright, so now we should be able to affect the tension. If I can affect the tension, that means that I should be able to blow us up too. Right, because if tension ever gets, if it equals 0 and then this tension timer goes all the way, then state equals boom. Also, tension now needs to equal 255 again. Tension timer equals 0 again. I'm gonna exit at the end of this. Probably some other things. I think hook alpha will probably equal 0. I thought it already equaled 0. I think it does. Resetting all of our stats at this point. That means these ones need to be part of this, so that everything resets when you exit this. You either catch the fish or you lose it, but it's all going to reset when you're done. Alright, so if we build the tension and we stay on it for 3 seconds, it'll go boom. Once it goes boom, technically there won't be an explosion yet, so I have to do that. I kind of want to set that up real quick. There's not much I have to do for the boom. I just need to check up here at the very top. How'd that happen? If it equals boom, we want to say instance create depth. I don't remember if I have the explosion create the surface wave or not. These are sprites. No. I want the surface explosion to happen regardless of the depth. Throw that in here. Okay, so if the state equals boom, gonna create these explosions, destroy itself and exit. You don't get anything, everything should reset. Play this animation until the explosions go away, and then it goes back to standby. I can test that. I can test all the other stuff we've done. See if the tension goes up and down correctly. actually a perfect throw already. There we go. So I can reel them in. This is all good. But if I go over here and start reeling, we start building tension. If we let off, it starts to go back up to white. Right? Doesn't look like it's getting any wider now. That might be a problem. Keep going. Looks really red right now. Boom. Whoa, they all exploded. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, but it almost worked. Oh, right, this can only happen if you're actually fishing them. Okay, I thought I wanted that to happen regardless of everything else that happens, but no, that should only happen if it's one of these. Which means I gotta put it in every single one of these spots at the very top so that nothing else happens. Okay. So the tension thing about it not going back down, what happened there? Down here. Oh, it only goes down if you're pressing the reel in. That's not what I want. I want it to go down constantly. Okay, I gotta do this the other way then. Alright. So if you're reeling and you're not in the right spot, so all this really doesn't go in here, it goes below. There we go. So if you're reeling in and your selection isn't on the fish, then it's going to go up, otherwise it's going to go down. Or other way around. I think I want it to like relieve tension faster, and I think it needs to like build up tension more. It might depend on like what kind of fish you have, but it seems like it takes a long time to be off the fish. I don't know. That's just going to be like a lot of play testing to see what feels right. But so reeling in, come over here, reel in, we start building tension, and then yeah, when I let go, it starts going back to normal. Seems like it's really hard to build it all the way up, but it is possible. So if I keep building it up, this should make this one fish explode now. Yeah, it's a little too hard to build it up. Kind of crazy how hard it is. There it goes. There you go. And he falls down. The fish gets destroyed. That's basically what I wanted. And we can catch a new one. Yeah, it builds up tension way too fast. Or way too slow. And it looks like 3 seconds is way too much. Maybe like a second of being total red is all I need. Alright, so build up tension faster. And then stay on red long, not as long. Everything else seems to be working pretty well. It feel like there's something wrong with that skyline now that I'm looking at it. There's some black underneath it. Yeah, look at that. How did I get my sky so off? I have to look at that too. Okay, this works, but I think the only deal here is I want to go minus equals like 2. And then we want to say if it's greater than 1. This one needs to go the other way. 4. Though I could make it go, it recovers slower than it gets bad. Maybe we'll do that. That makes that faster. The tension bit in here. Instead of 180, that's 3 seconds. Let's do just 60. Alright, that should make it explode a lot faster. I really should have moved the sky down while I was thinking about it. How'd the sky get so high up? So if I go less than to negative, bring it back down, but I feel like 3 isn't even enough. It looks like there's some black in here. Getting redder a lot faster. Boom. It works. Seems about right. You'd have to be doing pretty bad to get it up that much. And then as long as you don't reel in, you don't have to worry about the tension building up. But I think it does recover a little too slow too. So while you're not reeling in, you have to worry about the fish going off screen, or, you know, just taking longer to reel it in. So that's the reason you want to keep reeling it in correctly. Also, as long as you're reeling in over the fish, it's still recovering too. That's fine. So the way this works is like, yeah, the fish is to the right now, but if it was like fighting against you, it'd be over here, and you'd have to like slowly keep trying to reel it in to keep it from getting away. And anytime it goes off the fish icon, which would be on the right, it's going to slowly build more and more tension as you're trying to like keep it from running off the screen. And then once it gets tired out, then you can drag it back over to here and hopefully reel it in most of the way. And then once it goes passive again, that's when it just kind of like moves around sort of randomly, depending on like how hard the creature is, and you're just going to have to like follow it around and keep cranking on it to bring it in closer and closer without screwing it up, so that that doesn't happen. I'll go down like 5 more. Oh, so you were able to see that, right? I did full screen the game, right? I think so. Otherwise, that was dumb. I think I full screened it. Now it feels like the sky is too low. I can see the sky like just below the land. So sky's got to go back up some. So between that 5, 85 and 90. Let's just try like 89. Maybe I ended up like adding 10 on accident. I think that's probably what happened. I was doing this to get it where it was supposed to be, and I probably just like rewrote the other number to be 90 instead of 80. I would bet that's what happened. So it ended up being 499 or 490. And that looks about perfect. I can't actually see the black though because there's land there. Oh no, maybe that's not high enough. I mean, that looks like a horizon line though. Honestly, you can't really tell until you have like an explosion to see it. No, you can see the black definitely when the line goes down. So, about to change the wrong one. 89, let's try 80. I mean, 85 was too much. 87, cut it in half. Nice. That one looks pretty close. See, I see like a lot of black line there though. Fauna fell. Hello. I know that game, if you're talking about a game. Or if that's where you got your name from. Where there's a game on Steam called Lava Fell, right? Oh, Final Fantasy. Maybe that's where I heard it from. I never really played much of Final Fantasy 14. I played a little bit. What's a follow which command supposed to do? Go down a little more. So 485 was too much. I guess it's supposed to follow? Yeah, I don't have that. Oh, it shows the link to follow. Wait, Lalafell, I know who you are. You're easy, aren't you? Wait, wouldn't you be a VIP then? Shit, man. Well, hey, you see that I got a Steam page up now? A good question. Nightbot should show up. Here we go. Steam page. Bam. I thought I had you VIP'd. Maybe I forgot who you were. Probably what happened. I'm pretty sure if I want to VIP you, I can just do VIP. Does that work? Yeah, there you go. Well, I've almost finished. This is so I don't know how much you've seen, but I was working on Gazette for a while, ended up running out of money, got a part-time job, and I decided, seeing as I was out of money and I needed something, I'd just work on a simpler game. Plus I needed like a win. So I've been doing something a lot easier, and I'm almost done with it. It should be done in the next 3 months, as long as I don't screw anything up. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I ended up going full game dev and working on that. And right now, we're doing fishing minigame or that game. So, trying to get this working. It's a unique fishing game where if you screw up, the fish explodes, and I think that's kind of funny. I think that sky looks pretty good right there. Cool, you got like a little border now. No, I just put it on pause. I mean, I've done too much work on it to give up on it, but for the time being, it's on pause. Let me get this one. And this is great. This has been really good because, one, I get to try like a whole bunch of stuff. The scope's been a lot smaller, you know, so I'm going to do like audio and music here shortly. And I got to do all the like figuring out how putting stuff on Steam works, practice marketing. It's also like a really good idea to like have a game already made if you want to like talk to publishers. That way you can show publishers that you know what you can deliver. So I just think having like a smaller game out before I complete Gazzard would be pretty handy too. And then yeah, when it comes to doing Gazzard, I'll have like a lot more knowledge. I've learned so much in the last year compared to where I was at the last time I worked on Gazzard. Oh, thank you. This wish list really helped, or so I've been told. Apparently I need a certain amount of wish list before it starts getting even like visible on Steam. Yeah. I've shared it on all my marketing stuff. Twitter, Instagram, I got a TikTok. Shared it in Discord. I haven't really shared it to Reddit yet. I don't know where most Reddit subs like don't allow advertising or self-promotion. So that's the only one I'm a little iffy on. And of course I'm sharing it here on Twitch and on my YouTube. I do need to do more for marketing, but I don't need to really worry about that too much because I'm still like a couple months off of release. But I'm definitely like I got some more promo images and screenshots to share. Hopefully that starts bringing me in some more traffic. Start building a following real slow. 50 wish list? I don't think it's that high. Could be. I'm pretty sure it's like might be around 20. I read a thing that talked about it. There's this game dev thing, Discord, which is like how to market a game. But there's a bunch of game devs in here, and they're all like, I like this Discord because it's all about like finishing the game. It's not like all the Discord stuff you see on Reddit is just like new game devs, right? And they all talk about like just starting my project. Now I want to talk to people who have finished their project because that's the stuff I need to know. And like all the tutorials on YouTube are usually catered around beginners. So this has been a really great resource for finding out like more advanced stuff. But somewhere in here it talked about you need like, I think it's like 20 to 25 wish lists before it becomes like visible in search, and then I think it's more before of course it needs a lot more before the algorithm will pick it up and start showing it. But yeah, you need like a bare minimum so that Steam knows that it's not just trash. So we got to get over that hump. Yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to get the game on Steam though. I tried to get it up by Christmas, but you see, I didn't get it up till today. It was the 30th. I think it was only $100 for a ticket, for a Steam ticket. I don't remember. Was it 100 or 200? I could just look at how much a new ticket cost. It doesn't actually say right here. I think it's $100 for a ticket. You buy the ticket, and then once you like use it, you start filling out like huge checklist of paperwork, screenshots, and making GIFs and store page. It's just a lot of work. They make you actually like specify a release date. They just say that you're allowed to change it if you want to, but you gotta have something on there. But you can also, what you display to people, they don't actually see what I've set. Right now I'm just showing Q1 for 2023 because I think I can get this done in the next 3 months. Should be possible. Yeah, honestly, I used Open Dyslexic because it was free and I didn't have to worry about copyright. But I also kind of like it. I think it looks good. Yeah, if you want to see more, well, I mean, there's stuff in the Steam page, but if you wanted to see more on the game, I mean, I could actually just show you a bunch of stuff too. But, okay. Yeah, I got like little cutscenes in it. Move around the world map. World map like is fully functioning or whatever. Animated. I got lots of different stages. I think like 6 mini bosses, and then there's the big boss. So it's still like a small game. I'd say it's like NES size is kind of what I was going for. But yeah, got these like neat little GPS kind of thing in the top. There's the day-night system with it like tracks the time and the days. Then you go into the stages, collect stuff. I've now got like, yeah, the ship bobs up and down and the anchor goes inside that hole. So it just looks a little better now. That's a new thing. Pick up items. And just survive stages and collect as much as possible. Kind of the idea. Spend it on different upgrades. So if you don't know, NES game, there's like, it's a game called Jaws. It's what I used as inspiration. I just really liked that game as a kid. So I'm probably like the only person in the world that's made a clone of that game. Of course, I did a little more than just clone it. I got all these interesting elements. A little highway over here, a bunch of little cars. Yeah, this is like very SimCity. I use like SimCity as my reference for doing the world map. I just love like the look of SimCity's towns. But yeah, collect items, bring it back to port, and then you upgrade them. When you upgrade them, you get these little cutscenes. And yeah, it's a little story to follow along with. And they're pretty simple. It's like, it's very silly, it's very corny. The whole idea is it's supposed to be like, I'm using that like idea of like the old NES, like Japanese games. They're always like badly translated, or it's like whoever was translating had no idea what the game was actually about. When I did like my promotional art, I made it look like it was drawn by somebody who had no idea what the game was about. I just thought it was kind of funny to do it that way. And this is like little animated images as part of the cutscenes. And then yeah, like little mini bosses you can run into. Collect stuff. And the idea is you just keep collecting stuff, unlocking areas, fighting bosses, and collecting loot, getting upgrades. Pretty simple little game. And I still have like no sound effects or music yet. Working on that soon. But right now I'm doing mini games because I want something to break up the pace of the game and give you something else to do that's not just like this. Oh. Yeah. That's like our first little mini boss down. He's an easy one. You get a little item. More cutscenes, which you can skip if you want to. And you go in, and then I got these like little research screens where it shows like a little information about the thing you just killed, what's going on in the game, just like lore and background. It's all fairly simple though. I think my script in the game is less than 1,000 words, so everything's supposed to be kind of simple. It's like plain minigame. I'm going to test this. I think this should work. I haven't tested pausing, but that seems to work. That's good. Pausing in the minigames at least. So this is like one of the minigames that I just did. Get this little plain minigame. Jaws had a plain minigame. It wasn't quite like this. I've done my own thing, but like I'm not a total clone. But yeah, it's just like a way to earn some extra loot. It's kind of challenging, sort of fun too. I've been having a lot of fun with this project. I like that it's very like simple. It's not that imposing compared to Gazzard. Gazzard is like everything is so damn hard. In this game, everything just explodes, so there's no death animations. The whole idea was everything's supposed to be simple. So pretty happy with it so far. There you go. You get like an idea of how this works. There's an alien, spoilers, but like in Jaws, you'd have like Jaws walk around on the, or he'll move around on the overworld, and if you run into him, he like drags you into a stage and you have to fight him in the stage. I have something similar to that, but we haven't unlocked it yet. But once you reach a certain part in the stage, in the game, he starts like stalking you, so you have to be really careful moving around the maps, or the little alien boss guy is gonna get you. That's kind of like what the loop is like. Basically, you go out, you get stuff, and you try not to run into this alien thing, because you can't kill the alien thing until the end of the game, so it's really just there to take all your stuff from you. That's kind of how the game works. Can I shoot the seagull? No, I didn't do that. The game is very like E for everyone. There's a couple like, you know, there's dissections, but they're never that violent. I think the most violent thing I have is cutting open a salmon. You know, that's food. And then I have some like victims die off screen. Maybe they show blood on the water or something. But it's all very like PC, very E for everyone, like I said. Yeah, it's Game Maker Studio. Glad to see all that worked fine. Okay, so I got it to explode correctly. I got the sky in the right spot. So next is to get the fishing icon to move around and have the fish actually get reeled in. And once we get that all done, I mean, the rest of the fish are basically a copy and paste, and I just changed some of the parameters so they become more aggressive, move around more. But other than that, that's basically all the minigame is. Shouldn't be... I think I've done a lot of the hard stuff here. I still gotta figure out how to get the, like, this little ribbon to move on the icons. I wanted to have this done before the new year, but looks like it's going to take me a couple more days still. I don't know. I don't think I can finish it tonight or tomorrow. So it might take me another day or two. I've been doing like other things too. Anything I think of. Making the ship move around. I did some other stuff. I added pausing to the different mini games. So I'm not just doing the mini games. I'm also throwing in a couple like corrections here and there as well. I also figured out what that thing was that I wrote down here about the map disappearing when you go to the shipwreck. That was the map that's on the UI. So I need to make sure I look at that. I also have to do artwork for the credits. I'll do that later. I think I've been thinking more about what I want to do for the credits. I think I got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do now. Something pretty simple. I mean, it's just my name, but I figured I might put like I might put the truck in the credits, like a rest in peace for my truck. My you don't know, my truck on Christmas Eve, a tree fell on it. So yeah, it sucked. I've been spending the last couple days like cutting it up, and yeah, it completely totaled my truck. So I've pulled everything out of my truck. I got to pull the plates off of it. I was supposed to go to the DMV today, but I didn't. I let it get too dark, and I just said, screw it, I'll do it later. I got to do it before I have to pay insurance again. What truck? My truck. Well, what kind of truck? It's a Ranger. Yeah, it's a Ranger. I got pictures. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. It's great, right? Completely caved it in, landed right across the hood. Engine still starts, so the engine's good in it. But the frame is completely bent, turned it into like a U. Yeah, this is like what I woke up to see. Just my truck buried underneath the tree. No, hell no I don't. I have liability. It's a 20-year-old truck. I just have liability. The tree was my neighbor's, but I don't think their insurance is going to cover me. I'm pretty sure you're responsible for your own damage if a tree falls on your stuff. Well, it'll cover if I'd have said like, if I'd have sent him a note or something legal that said that I was worried about the tree and that it was rotten or whatever, but I, of course, never did any of that stuff. So they can say that I didn't, you know, raise any concerns about it, so I'm not entitled to anything. That's what I read online. Then again, I have a neighbor who had a tree fall on his pool, and they completely replaced the pool. So maybe, I don't know. The old guy, he's like 89-year-old. He's got to talk to him, and he hasn't told me anything about like what's going on. I don't know if he's even gonna try. I hope he does. At the very least, they should pay us to remove the tree. I don't know. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's put a lot of extra pressure on me to complete this. Hopefully I get a little more money. Because at the moment I'm really screwed. But I'm not too worried about it either. I was already like at rock bottom, so What's one little tree may matter at this point? All right, I think I'm gonna end here. I wasn't planning on streaming that long. I mostly just started the stream because I got my Steam page up and I really wanted to talk about it. Really excited that that happened. So I just wanted to do that, put this on YouTube. I'm gonna keep working on this. I don't know when my next stream's gonna be. Maybe a couple days. I'll probably do something before I move on to audio, but we'll see. I've still got a bit to do. I'll probably do like another stream where I'll just play through the game for figuring out the economy. So maybe that'll be my next stream, and I can show off all this stuff when I do that. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for stopping by. I don't think anyone is online that I would raid. And it's just the two of us. No. That's it for me. Yep. That's it. Bye.